There we go. Hello. Hello, thrill seekers. Welcome along to what I suppose is a Christmas special. It's like Morecambe and Wise without the gags. Before we go back to Marylebone, I just want to point out Debenhams here on the right, which was a dowdy old building. I know the store is in a parlour state at the moment, but this is a really lovely refit of what was a fairly dull old store. It's covered with tens of thousands of movable, semi-reflective silver tiles. They're too small to see in detail there, but in the wind, because they're movable, the whole building becomes alive. It becomes very organic, and it moves, it shimmers. It's fantastic. And at night time, of course, it reflects whatever's light around, but at night time it reflects that blue sky and the red lighting. It's a really nice building. We just popped over onto oh, hello. It's exciting, isn't it? You can tell I've got a new toy. Yes, the thing about these 360 cameras is that you can point them anywhere, and in any direction, and even upside down. We started off in Marylebone, one of my favourite parts of town, I think, apart from maybe Clerkenwell, Soho, Marylebone. It's got a really nice vibe to it, a nice atmosphere. Marylebone's owned by the De Wallen estate, who are in fact one of my clients. And I keep on hoping in return for some fabulous photography or videos that they'll offer me a grace and favour apartment, maybe on Marylebone Lane. Well, Marylebone High Street, but anywhere would do, really. Cavendish Street? Not fussy. Hasn't happened. Marylebone Lane, though, has turned into a real destination full of lovely shops, restaurants, cafes. Definitely worth a trip if you're in the West End. So we're on New Bond Street now, and on the right-hand side just here you see a gang of people, and one of them's got a selfie stick, but it's got a 360 camera on the end of it. There he is. Which I couldn't quite see, but I suspect it's the same as my 360 camera. So I thought that maybe he's going to make I can see them following me here. I thought maybe I'm going to be in his film and he can be in my film, and it's going to be, there he goes. But no, he sailed right past me, as did his mate without a camera. So obviously I'm singularly uninteresting, not as interesting as that Audi. And off they go. The strange thing is, about being on New Bond Street and doing this sort of stuff. There's two more of them there. Looks like fun though, doesn't it? There you go. Let them go. Off they go down the other end of Bond Street. Old Bond Street. The thing about photographing on Bond Street though is every single time I get a camera out on Bond Street, I get arrested. Oh, here's Saville Row, by the way. Strangely empty. I suppose it's not really a Christmas shopping area, even at the best of times, but it's particularly quiet at the moment. I filmed this video on the Sunday after London went into a Tier 4, which is effectively a full lockdown, so all the shops are shut. And you can imagine that this very near Christmas in late December, London would be absolutely heaving with shoppers and people doing last-minute Christmas shopping, and people cycling the wrong way down one-way streets and confusing, rather nervous drivers in front of me. Which is why I'm out for trying to get some photographs of a deserted London. As you'll see, certain parts of town are deserted, and other parts of town, well, you'll see on Regent Street, were particularly not deserted at all. So photographically, it didn't quite work out, but I got the camera on the bike anyway. And now, just out of shot on the right of BAFTA there, I spotted Fortnum Mason, which is why I slowed down slightly, which looked absolutely spectacular, done up like a huge Christmas cake. And I thought, instead of turning left here, which was my original intention to go up Regent Street, it might be worth revisiting Piccadilly and having another look at Fortnum Mason. And you get a chance to see Piccadilly Circus. And the huge crowds of 4 people, including me. Unfortunately, in order to get back to Piccadilly, we have to go round the tortuous and elongated one-way system. That is St James's and Mayfair. So I've sped up some of the slower parts. But actually, coming on to Regent Street, St James's, I'd forgotten how good the Christmas lights were down here on this sort of lower part of Regent Street. Pretty spectacular. Now, in the true spirit of winging it, because remember my original plan was to go up Regent Street, I actually want to go down Jermyn Street, which is on the left there, after these lights. But you'll notice I'm in completely the wrong lane, so I'm now looking anxiously across thinking, can I get away with this? And the answer is yes, just. It's a bit cheeky, I know. It's one of the advantages of being on a motorbike, in that the acceleration from standstill is pretty eye-popping. And you can use that to your advantage just to get out of problems. It can get you into lots of problems as well, of course, but it can get you out of a lot of problems because you're generally ahead of the traffic. Jermyn Street runs parallel to Piccadilly, famous for upmarket fashion. Bit fancy, really. And look here, here's our two 360 boys. There they are again. Selfie stick in hand. I think his friends, that there's another friend here on the right, and there's a couple of more friends turning up here on the right. Yeah, it's just on the back side of Fortnum Mason. The other side of which, of course, is ironically where we're trying to get to. Yes, I think this part of town's probably a bit too upmarket for me, if truth be told. I feel a bit out of my depth down here. I haven't got quite enough money. I did photograph Norman Foster in a restaurant on Jermyn Street. And in fact, the story of that shoot tells you probably more about this part of town than it does about Norman Foster, in that I turned up and I wasn't looking at complete shambles, but I mean, I probably wasn't in tails. I mean, I might have been in a t-shirt. Can you imagine? Anyway, I turned up and said, I'm here to photograph Norman Foster. And they went, well, yes, but you can't come in. You can't come in without a jacket. So I looked nonplussed. And I have to say, a little bit concerned, because obviously I hadn't got a jacket, and I could see the shoot not happening. But no, they actually had a selection of jackets in different sizes and different styles to loan to scruffs like me. Anyway, I went in, did the shoot and left. I don't think I'll be going back, much like the Ritz, in fact, which you can see there. I popped in there many years ago when I was, well, before we got married, in fact, and I thought, well, I'll go and check out some fancy locations where we might have a wedding reception. And they wouldn't let me in there either. This time, I couldn't get in without a tie or a jacket. I think there's something about this part of town. I just don't belong. Anyway, we're back on Piccadilly. Stuck in traffic. There is something uniquely frustrating about being on a motorcycle and being stuck in traffic. I think it's a consequence of the roads being narrow with all the social distancing you can see on the left and the bicycle lanes that they're putting in. Oh, there's Lower Bond Street, where our 360 boys must have emerged from after their filming escapades. Yeah, so the streets are getting a little bit narrower, and at the moment, obviously, there's not much. Oh, there's Fortnum Mason, the Christmas cake. Isn't it fantastic? A big reminder there that we're in 2020, as if we needed reminding. There's one of those disco bikes there. Very loud. Loud visually and orally, because they have big PA systems installed. Fortnum Mason, isn't that fantastic? If you're going to do some Christmas decorations, do them properly. Go the whole hog. Anyway, that whole detour was just so we could have a look at that. I think it was worth it, but we're back at BAFTA, where we started. There's Simpsons of Piccadilly on the right, now a Waterstones. Most amazing curved glass window displays in Simpsons, or Waterstones should I say. Only matched by the Habitat and Heel store on Tottenham Court Road, which is also uses the same method of using curved glass so that the window looks invisible. There are no reflections on it. You can see the strange things I get excited about. So I think rather than being cheeky and whizzing around this taxi, we'll just follow in a genteel fashion. Well, it gives us another view of Piccadilly Circus, doesn't it? Which does look fantastic. It's twilight. It's the old Tower Records store. Do you remember Tower? Do you remember records? Do you remember CDs? Tower Records on the left. When I was young and happy. Anyway, we'll nip up Regent Street, which I suppose, along with Oxford Street, are probably the most famous Christmas lights in the West End. This is where it all gets very busy. So we're meant to be... I mean, London's meant to be deserted. I'm here photographing a deserted London. And all I'm finding is queues of traffic. Maybe it's like one of those apocalypse movies, and in fact everybody's just running out of town as fast as they possibly can. But it's strange how they're all running out of town up Regent Street, and all the other streets surrounding it were completely deserted. It might have something to do with the sirens I can hear behind me. There is a fire engine coming up, but I think he's far enough away at the moment that I will just whiz up here and we'll get ahead of the queue of traffic and we'll end up, well, at these red lights, and then we can take a view on the matter. You can see the blue flashing lights. Now you're in a dilemma here, aren't you? Because do you go through the red light or do you wait? Or they usually go up the wrong side of the road in instances like this. Half expecting to see him on the other side, but no, he's not. He's coming on our side of the road, so we've all got to get out of the way. And I think if I go over here, I can make myself scarce in front of this white Mercedes. Almost get onto the pavement, in fact. And then he has to come. Okay, he'll come this way past us. Must be stressful getting one of those things through a crowded city, mustn't it? The best thing is to mount on the pavement like he's doing at the moment. That solves a lot of problems. Now we get into this strange politeness standoff. I'm waiting for the disco to go in front of me here, but he's hesitating to the point of thinking, well, come on. I've run out of patience. This chap here is actually using his phone. Look, he's taking videos handheld while driving. That's cool. So while we head up Regent Street, I can hear another fire engine coming from the opposite direction. They all seem to be converging on Saville Row, which is parallel to Regent Street, where we are now, to the left of this shot, in fact. Or the Bond Street area, maybe. Maybe they're chasing 360 Boy. No, that would be the police, wouldn't it? That wouldn't be fire engines, unless he's got trapped up a tree or something. No, my imagination's getting the better of me. Here we are, arriving at Oxford Circus. Like Piccadilly. Maybe 4 people here, or 5 people. Rather than 4,000 or 5,000. Oh, look, it says Oxford Circus on the bus. It must be true. I wouldn't lie to you. My intention is to go down Oxford Street. I can't do that from here. Can't. Well, not legally anyway. I'm not going to take any risks. So I do have a plan. The plan is to essentially sort of go in a westerly direction. So turn left from here, go around the back of Oxford Street and join it at a later stage. However, it's not very interesting down the back of Oxford Street, so we'll speed up this bit. Now, if we hang a left here, here's Selfridges on the left, big M&S marble arch on the right, but look, the road is shut. There's a no entry sign on the left. I was going to go on Oxford Street there, so I can't. So now we're on another, is Grosvenor Square, where the American embassy was, no longer. They've moved it down to Battersea, I think. And then I must admit, I forgot this was a head only. I thought I could cunningly turn left here. I can't, so once again we go over Oxford. You're getting a good view crossing Oxford Street today. Selfridges on the left. But I've got another plan now. We'll go up Duke Street and then we'll take a right again onto Wigmore Street and then take another right down onto James Street. And at the bottom of James Street, I'm sounding like a slightly demented cabbie. At the bottom of James Street, we can take a left and that'll get us onto Oxford Street. And actually, that could be quite good because that'll take us back to Oxford Circus. But no, look, road ahead closed. But there's cars going down there. Why are they going down there? Do you know what? If I did that, I'm absolutely positive there would be the one camera on James Street and it would be pointing right at me. But here we go. Success at last. We're back onto Oxford Street, which actually looks pretty nice, doesn't it? There's Selfridges. I quite like what they've done with these animated lights. We are indeed all shining on. All very festive. And lots of love. That's nice. Not much love in a minute though, because despite my best road positioning, well, you be the judge of my road positioning. You see that arrow in the middle of the road? I'm going to turn right here, just past Selfridges. So there's an arrow there, and a sort of a very well demarcated filter to turn right. And I thought, I'll get myself in there. And I nearly got completely taken out by a taxi that drove into me. And look, you be the judge. Am I in the right place? I think so. That looks fine to me. And look at him. Look, look, look. It doesn't look like it in the camera, but that literally was millimetres. Millimetres. That would have been the end to a perfect day, wouldn't it? Being collected by a black cab. At least I heard it on film, I suppose. That's the one benefit. Anyway, that's the end of our little jaunt. Please subscribe. There might be more. There will be more. I might head out east next time. Canary Wharf? What do you think? Anyway, have a lovely Christmas.